Hello, I'm James Ezimaha. You're watching A News. Here are your top stories. Trump declares America is back in his first Congress address since his return to office. Germany's future coalition partners agree historic debt overhaul to revamp its military and economy. Presidents of Azerbaijan and Turkey attend opening ceremony of Igdir Nakhchivan gas pipeline via video link. Thank you for joining us. We begin in the United States, where President Donald Trump addressed Congress for the first time since returning to the Oval Office. His address was packed with bold promises, peace talks on Ukraine, U.S. expansion, and a Mars mission. However, his speech quickly turned chaotic, with Democratic lawmakers interrupting, protesting, and walking out.
America is back.
U.S. President Donald Trump opened his State of the Union address by claiming his administration achieved more in 43 days than most do in 4 or even 8 years. It's the first time he addressed Congress since returning to power in January.
I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
Mr. Trump also says he received a letter from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in which the Ukrainian leader expressed willingness to come to the negotiating table over the Russia-Ukraine war.
Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago.
He also says he would welcome the people of Greenland into the United States of America. He says the U.S. needs Greenland for national and international security.
One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security.
During his long 1 hour and 40 minutes speech, he also vowed to plant the American flag on Mars.
We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
His address to Congress wasn't without protest. Within minutes, there were catcalls from Democratic lawmakers. Texas Congressman Al Green was ordered out of the chamber after refusing to sit down. Some representatives turned their backs on Trump, displaying messages like "Force," "Save Medicaid," "Mask Steals," and "Protect Veterans" on their shirts before walking out. Dozens of Democrats left within the first hour of the speech. However, Trump says he's just getting started.
U.S. President Donald Trump's speech to Congress painted a picture of triumph, but analysts argue it fell short of bridging the deep partisan gap. His tone and rhetoric have sparked debate about his future political strategy.
In his speech to Congress, U.S. President Trump celebrated his reshaping of U.S. foreign policy, igniting a trade war and cutting government jobs. His remarks, however, were met with jeers from Democrats, some of whom walked out in protest. Analysts pointed out the speech's partisan tone, warning that Trump missed a chance to find common ground with Democrats as key bipartisan legislation approaches.
I agree. Most presidents, even when they're elected in very partisan times, like Bill Clinton, for example, they use these addresses to try to win some people over, to win over a few people in the other party, and to win over a few viewers, because that's the only way you get legislation passed. That's the only way you keep the government open when you're so closely divided. But that doesn't seem to be in Donald Trump's way of thinking about politics, which is what made this sound more like a campaign speech than a governing speech.
As analysts dissect the speech, one notable moment was the U.S. president reading a letter from Ukrainian President Zelensky, which many viewed as a shift in tone after recent tensions.
I think the news, if there was any, was his reading the letter from Zelensky and not editorializing in a negative way about it. So that seemed to be a bit of a thaw certainly from what we've seen over the last few days since the disastrous meeting in the Oval Office.
The speech came as President Trump doubled down on his controversial tariff policies, which many analysts predict could lead to rising costs and potential economic challenges.
That he really doubled down on the tariffs, which is going to make it harder for him down the line to either reverse himself or to claim he didn't really support tariffs. I mean, he can't blame someone else for that. It was interesting. He said, we can blame Marco Rubio if some things don't work out in the Middle East. He actually said that in the speech. He's taken personal ownership over the tariff issue. And if that produces rising costs, a trade war, supply chain problems, and perhaps a recession, as many Republican economists, as the Wall Street Journal thinks will happen, I don't know how he walks his way out of that black eye.
The 100-minute speech was marked by campaign-style rhetoric, with Trump attacking his predecessor, President Joe Biden, and making inflammatory remarks about immigration.
Tensions between the United States and Ukraine have escalated, with all intelligence sharing and weapons supplies suspended following a heated meeting between Presidents Trump and Zelensky. This pause in cooperation will remain in effect until a date is set for peace talks with Russia, significantly affecting Ukraine's military capabilities. Obay Shabanda has more from Washington, D.C.
All intelligence sharing between the United States and Ukraine has been put to a stop, at least for the time being. John Ratcliffe, the Director for Central Intelligence, confirmed that the pause was a result of the fallout from last week's confrontational Oval Office meeting between Presidents Trump and Zelensky. President Trump's National Security Advisor Mike Waltz said on Wednesday that the suspension of weapon supplies and intelligence sharing with Ukraine will continue until a date is set for peace talks with Russia. This move is expected to severely restrict Ukraine's military capacity to strike deep into Russian territory and target strategic military and energy sites. The White House pressure on Kyiv has led to President Zelensky issuing a statement on Tuesday expressing regret for his very public clash with President Trump. In that statement, Zelensky said that he was committed to peace talks. National Security Advisor Waltz told reporters on Wednesday that he spoke with his Ukrainian counterpart and are in discussions on potential dates and locations for talks between Ukraine and Russia. The battlefield picture remains dire for the Ukrainians in the meantime. Western intelligence officials have assessed that Russian military territorial advances in Ukraine accelerated throughout 2024, though have slowed down in early 2025. I'm Ubay Shabanda for A News, Washington, D.C.
U.S. President Donald Trump's new tariffs on goods from Canada, Mexico, and China have begun, dealing a severe blow to global trade. Analysts say Trump's decision on a 25% tax hike threatens North American economy, while China has announced reciprocal measures. Global markets are already experiencing one of the sharpest losses in history.
Thank you very much.
U.S. President Donald Trump's new 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada came into effect on Tuesday. Additionally, tariffs on China's goods have increased to 20%. These tax hikes affect $2.2 trillion in annual trade with America's top 3 trading partners. Analysts say the move is predicted to seriously impact economic growth. Furthermore, they say price increases could lead to trade wars.
U.S., Mexico, and Canada have pretty tightly integrated supply chains. So the average car made in the U.S. or in the Mexico, Canada, U.S. zone tends to travel across borders up to 8 times. And so if you're imposing a tariff of 25% each time a part comes across the border, or if the whole automobile crosses the border, it's going to get pretty costly pretty quickly.
The tariffs will therefore increase goods in the US, which will affect Americans who are still struggling with high inflation. It also goes against Trump's campaign promise to reduce the cost of living for Americans.
What it means is essentially twofold. The first thing is that prices will be higher. The cost of importing goods from these countries will be higher. So that is likely to be passed on to consumers in some way. And the other thing is that we're likely to see weaker activity as a result of it as well. So we're going to have weaker growth, and we're also going to see higher prices, which are likely to translate into higher interest rates than otherwise as well.
The tariffs on products imported from Mexico and Canada could significantly impact the North American economy, as it relies on supply chains in sectors like automotive manufacturing, energy refining, and agricultural processing. US data shows factory prices have reached a 3-year high, meaning the new tariffs will affect production as well. However, Trump says that these 3 countries have not done enough to stop the flow of fentanyl into the US or the flow of illegal immigration. His decision has caused sharp declines in global stock markets, with all major US indexes already dropping. Canada has responded strongly, imposing a 25% tariff on $30 billion worth of US imports, including food products, household appliances, and motorcycles. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum also announced retaliatory measures. China will impose additional tariffs of 10 to 15% on US goods, starting on the 10th of March, and new export restrictions on US companies, while filing a complaint with the World Trade Organization. As countries and the global markets scramble to deal with the impact of the tariff hikes, the future is now entering into a new era for all of us.
Over in China, Beijing says that the U.S. must consult with its government if they want to resolve the fentanyl-related issue being blamed for the tariff hikes. China is the main source of the chemicals used to make the opioids. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's raised taxes for imported goods from 10% to 20% because China has failed to stop fentanyl shipments. China has retaliated with a 15% tariff. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ling Yang says the USA is using the drug as an excuse to increase tariffs.
The US has insisted on using the fentanyl issue as an excuse to once again impose tariffs on Chinese products exported to the United States. China has repeatedly stated its opposition and taken legitimate and necessary countermeasures. If the US really wants to resolve the fentanyl issue, it should consult with China on the basis of equality, respect and mutual benefit to resolve their respective concerns.
Control over key ports in Panama is shifting to the United States in a multi-billion-dollar deal involving major international investors. The move revives past controversies, including U.S. President Donald Trump's warnings about foreign control of the Panama Canal. With geopolitical stakes high, the deal raises questions about its impact on trade and regional influence.
A BlackRock-backed investor group is buying a majority stake in a Hong Kong company that runs ports on both sides of the Panama Canal. The $22.8 billion deal involves CK Hutchison selling its Panama and other port operations to US and Swiss investors. The sale is seen as a win for the US, supporting efforts to limit China's influence in the region. For BlackRock, this is the largest infrastructure investment and may help address Republican criticism of its past ESG-focused strategies. The deal gives the group a 90% stake in Panama Ports Company, which runs key ports in the country. Despite the deal's significance, the U.S. State Department has not commented. Panama is reviewing CK Hutchinson's contract and recently withdrew from China's Belt and Road Initiative.
Germany's future coalition partners have agreed on a historic debt overhaul to revamp its military and economy. Friedrich Merz conservatives and the Social Democrats will put their proposal of a 500 billion euros infrastructure fund and changes to borrowing rules to boost military spending to the German parliament next week. Merz stressed the need for Europe to take responsibility for its own security. The reform will mark a roadblock of borrowing rules imposed after the 2008 global financial crisis that many have since criticized as outdated. Ukraine reported another deadly drone attack on the Black Sea port city of Odessa on Tuesday. It marks the fourth strike on the region's energy infrastructure in just 2 weeks. Local officials confirmed that the late-night strike targeted critical infrastructure, leaving multiple districts without power, water and heating for the second day in a row. The attack killed at least one person. Russia has not yet commented on the latest strikes. The Kremlin confirms that future talks between Russia and the United States will include discussions on Iran's nuclear program. This follows a recent round of talks between the two nations where Iran's nuclear activities were briefly addressed. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov says that Russia believes Iran's nuclear issue should be resolved through political and diplomatic means. Meanwhile, President Trump has reiterated what he calls the maximum pressure campaign on Iran. This includes efforts to drive its oil exports down to zero in order to stop Tehran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Iran denies any such intention. Azerbaijan and Turkey have launched a natural gas pipeline to Nakhchivan enclave. The opening ceremony was held in Ankara, attended by President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Our Andy Moich has more from Ankara.
An honor guard greeted Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev at the Ankara airport, and he was welcomed by Turkish finance minister and other officials ahead of his meeting with the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The two leaders met in the presidential complex for talks on bilateral ties, regional and global issues. Erdogan and Aliyev attended via video link the opening ceremony of the Igdir-Nakhchivan natural gas pipeline, the foundation of which they laid back in September 2023. The 97.5 kilometers long pipeline has the capacity to transport 2 million cubic meters of gas per day, which is enough gas to meet the needs of Nakhchivan, Azerbaijan's exclave with a population of around 500,000.
Bugün açılışında iştirak ettiğimiz proje Nakhchivan'ın enerji güvenliğini.
The project we are inaugurating today will ensure the energy security of Nakhchivan. The gas coming from Azerbaijan will be transferred to Nakhchivan through the territory of Turkey in the form of a swap and will save Nakhchivan from this problem.
İhlas etmiş olacaktır. Bizim birgə həyata keçirdiyimiz enerji projelerimiz
Our joint energy initiatives have also enabled the implementation of transport projects.
gerçekleşmesine de imkan verdi ve bugün
Today, the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway, which connects Turkey with Azerbaijan, provides great advantages both for our countries and for a wider region.
avantajlar sağlayır. Hem ülkelerimiz için hem daha geniş coğrafya için.
This transport link has tremendous significance and benefits, especially in terms of uniting the Turkic world.
Çok büyük mənası var, çok büyük faydası var.
Anadolu geçişli doğalgaz boru hattı TANAP vasıtasıyla
We are experiencing the joy of delivering a large amount of Azerbaijani gas to Europe through the natural gas pipeline passing through Anatolia. We are in full agreement with Azerbaijan on implementing strategic and extraordinary projects in this field. Today, together with my brother Ilham Aliyev, we are very pleased to add a new project to this cooperation. The Igdir-Nakhchivan natural gas pipeline, which we will soon inaugurate, will complement our previous strategic initiatives in the field of energy and also serve as a sign of our common destiny with Nakhchivan. This 80 kilometers pipeline, built by Bothans S with a daily transport capacity of up to 2 million cubic meters, will meet all of Nakhchivan's natural gas needs for at least 30 years. Thus, my brother and I have delivered a project to our countries that will ensure the energy security of Nakhchivan for many years to come.
The press conference was followed by a one-on-one meeting with today's program of the visit, wrapping up with an iftar dinner.
Our Andy Moit reports for the latest from Ankara, where Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan meets President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev.
Well, we are here in Ankara after today's program of the official visit of President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev to Turkey has ended. The brotherhood and the friendliness of the two countries was seen at every step, from the arrival of President of Azerbaijan, where he was greeted by an honor guard, the Turkish Minister of Finance and other officials, to the meeting with the President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, where they attended the opening ceremony of a very important gas pipeline that connected Igdir and Nakhchivan, and which will basically prove to indulge all the needs of Nakhchivan and his 500,000 people for gas. This gas pipeline is not only important for the people of Nakhchivan and Igdir, it is an important step in the energy cooperation of the two nations. One of the to some most important things that happened after the opening ceremony and the joint press conference between the two leaders was the hug at the end and the family photo when workers from the gas sector came out and took a picture with Ilham Aliyev and Recep Tayyip Erdogan. This visit will prove to be a major success because many bilateral things have been discussed, trade, ties, cultural, historical, many regional issues and global issues as well. The Turkish side has, ahead of the talks, said that steps will be talked about, which steps should be taken to further strengthen the already brotherly ties of Turkey and Azerbaijan. From Ankara for A News, Andy Moit.
The partnership between Georgia and Uzbekistan is advancing to new levels. During his official visit to Tashkent, Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kopakidze discussed the future development of the Middle Corridor and the strengthening of economic ties between the two countries. Our correspondent Fariza Kalimuzina has more.
In his official visit to Uzbekistan, Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kopakidze stressed the significance of deepening collaboration between Georgia and Uzbekistan to boost the Middle Corridor. Speaking with journalists, he emphasized the importance of maintaining progress in this area, pointing out the advantages of actively advancing the economies of both nations. As part of the visit to Tashkent, the 10th session of the Intergovernmental Commission on Economic Cooperation between Uzbekistan and Georgia took place. During the meeting, it was announced that trade turnover between the two countries reached $325.7 million last year, reflecting growing economic ties. Kopakidze also pointed out that Georgia has been expanding its economic connections, with the country's economy growing at an average rate of 10% over the past 4 years. He stressed Georgia's strategic role as a bridge between Europe and Asia, particularly with major infrastructure projects in the works. This includes the construction of a new international airport in Tbilisi and a new port on the Black Sea, both integral to the Middle Corridor initiative aimed at boosting cooperation with Central Asia. Additionally, Georgia has announced plans to modernize its railway system to enhance its role in the Middle Corridor. If the plans proceed as expected, cargo traffic along the corridor could rise from 27 million to 48 million tons by 2025. Kabakhidze's commitment to regional collaboration extends beyond Uzbekistan. Just a month ago, he visited Kazakhstan, where he discussed increasing cargo traffic along the Trans-Caspian International Transport Road with Prime Minister of Kazakhstan, Olzhas Bektenev. Kazakh Prime Minister revealed that by 2027, the volume of transportation along this road could reach 10 million tons. From Almaty, Kazakhstan, Fariza Kalimurzina, A News.
Exciting discoveries have emerged from the ancient city of Aspendos, located 40 kilometers east of Antalya. As part of Turkey's Heritage for Future project, archaeologists have uncovered remarkable artifacts that offer a glimpse into the past. Among the treasures is a marble statue of Hermes, the messenger of Zeus, alongside fragments of statues depicting Aphrodite, Eros, Artemis, and Nemesis. Take a look.
The Turkish Ministry of Culture and Tourism has announced the discovery of significant artifacts in Aspendos, a city renowned for its well-preserved Roman theater and architectural marvels. The statue of Hermes, found in multiple fragments, was carefully reassembled by experts. Known in Greek mythology as the herald of the gods and the protector of trade, merchants, and travelers, Hermes holds a crucial place in ancient beliefs. Culture and Tourism Minister Mehmet Nuri Ersoy emphasized that this excavation is part of an ongoing effort to preserve and showcase Turkey's rich cultural heritage. The unveiling of these statues provides fresh insight into the artistic and historical significance of Aspendos, a city that continues to captivate historians and visitors alike. Experts believe that these discoveries will shed new light on the religious and social life of the ancient inhabitants of the region.
In Spain, thousands of visitors are attending the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona to explore the latest artificial intelligence devices.
The second day of the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona showcased the latest technological advancements, drawing thousands of attendees. The exhibition featured innovative devices, including smartwatches, smartphones, and headphones. On the first day was the display of the Tesla Cybertruck, where visitors had the opportunity to sit inside and test its features.
I was at Mobile World Congress last year, and this year I see things that were presented then now fully implemented. It's exciting to witness how technology advances. As a software engineer in the tech industry, I see artificial intelligence evolving daily.
The venue was filled with activity as attendees explored the latest tech trends.
The AI is being applied everywhere, in network, in customer management. So I would say AI, artificial intelligence, is currently a trend in telecommunications.
As one of the most significant global tech events, the Mobile World Congress continues to be a hub for industry leaders, innovators, and tech enthusiasts who want to experience the future of technology firsthand.
Well, that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to A News.